Oh, I always.
You got a nut gun?
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah, you got that. Yeah, I always have to mine in the middle, too.
Yeah. This way I don't have to think about it when I get to the other side. Right, exactly. Same shit. Same shit.
Water, my friend, my friend. My charge top on the bed for me, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. I said thank you. Oh, you Yo, Ken, be cool, man.
You gotta get one to the guard.
Nice talking to you.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you got a tarp too?
Yeah.
Oh, I see you down there. Where? Oh yeah? What do you mean on top of the hill?
You know what something in it?
Yeah.
The way it goes off the other way with the Home Depot and all that stuff in?
Nah. You mean you don't tarp on the property?
Well, this is a city street right here that we driving around on.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's
holy shit. Wait, when you come in past the guard shack, that's a city street?
That's a city street when you come in past the guard shack. You on a regular city road. But when we come up and come around, you know how you go off to the left and go when you go off to the left and go straight?
Yeah.
I tarp over there, we go off to the left. And then when I get finished, I go to it's a pizza place, Dick's Barbecue, Safeway.
Really?
Yeah, all that right on top of here.
Wait, so what do? You go scale first?
I go scale and then I go over there tarping.
Now, I might do that. There's something to eat over there like that.
Go give me something to eat.
Oh yeah, all right, man.
Okay.
So I give you one of those?
Yeah.
When I come in here and I weigh, I'm supposed to put my front tires on?
You're supposed to do your front, bring your dry tires down to the cones on the first link. And then bring the trailer tires down by the cone on the second link. And then drive on the first. Only got 43,960 because you had both the drives and the steers on.
What is the weight?
76,820.
All right.
There you go.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Yeah.
I swear that guy reminds me of Napoleon Dynamite. Every time I come here.
Alright, I'm gonna tarp this. So, just pulled up to this open lot and tarp it. You can tarp down there, but I don't really like tarping down there because then I'm sitting on a hill. So a driver just told me about this open lot that he tarps here, and I'd much rather be tarping without my truck sitting on a hill. And he said there's food over there in that parking lot, which is also a good thing. Probably be a good idea if we used edge protectors. So we'll grab those too. Just because, I mean, I could say that I don't have to and not use them. But the bottom line is, you know, I want that wood cutting into my straps. So, some people put the edge protectors on the top or on the side. Put them on both. Some people do both too. I've seen a lot of people. They only protect one part, one tier. Bottom line is, you cut both places, so. Might not have enough edge protectors. Do the entire load. But I'll do as much as I can. As you notice, I left my straps loose and they're hand tightened just so that I can get these edge protectors in there, because if you tighten them down too much, you won't be able to get the edge protector in there. These edges here are really sharp, so I need to put edge protector on to protect my tarps. Now again, there's a lot of people that won't take those extra measures. You know, like, it's company material, what the hell. But I gotta keep these tarps until I get new ones. One is just a professional way. And like I said, the other reason is these tarps are mine, so I can switch them out. So I don't want them, I just don't want them to get damaged. What I do is I cover those sharp corners. These tarps seem so much bigger than the ones I had. What I do is I take the bungees that I use for the tarps, throw them right down there to the back, because I'm going to need them back there. So there's this seam right here. That's where the flap seam is. I usually start by lining that up with the edge of the wood. Now I'm on my tarp. I want to do the back tarp first. You need the back tarp to be underneath your front tarp. Why? Because the wind blows over the truck and then we'll go, obviously, if you can imagine, we'll go over the tarps. You have the back tarp over the front tarp, the wind will blow it up like a damn balloon. This is why I fold my tarps this way, because a lot of people don't fold tarps this way. Fold them another way. I like to fold it this way because when I unfold it, just voila, you know? It's usually even on both sides, not always. Not always. So the first thing I want to do, once I get that tarp unfolded, is I want to place my my flap. First thing I want to do is I want to place my flap. Here's the flap. I want to make sure it's in the right spot. Flap also helps me to judge whether it's centered or not. Now, there's a seam that runs down the middle of the tarp. I don't know if you guys can see it on camera. You want that seam want that seam in the middle of my tarp. Now, what I will say is be careful. You gotta be careful when you're climbing on your load. This load particularly, not particularly this load because it's all flat, but a lot of times you'll pick up wood or steel or metal, and there might be spaces behind the stacks. When there's spaces behind the stacks, you can fall, trip, break your leg, catch your ankle. So you want to be sure that you're stepping in the right place. So because this isn't a square load, as you can see, let's get this flap.
12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 12.
So I didn't do too great there, but I set myself up to get started. I want to make sure it's pulled tight. know what it is because I just looked at the other side. The tarp is even. Whoever they resew the tarps when they break. Whoever put that flap on, that flap is no good. It's not sewed on symmetrically. Whatever. So, you know what? Feel more comfortable. That to the back there. Why am I doing that? Because I don't want this tarp to pull forward. Keeps it in place while I'm working with it as well. So, how I judge how I do it is I start in the middle. I feel for the rub rail. This is the rub rail. And that's where I want to fold it. A little, I actually fold it a little above the rub rail. I fold it a little above the rub rail because it's gonna, see that? And that's why I do it that way. So what I do is I go, if it's possible, I'll go through this loop behind the rub rail up to the next one, and I'll thread the rest of the tarp like that. What I want to do before I do that is I want to go to the other side, because what happens is when you start tarping, when you tarp all one side, it pulls the tarp. See, you guys, it was even. The tarp was sitting on the ground the same way on the other side, rub rail. So it pulls the tarp to one side. So I like to get a hook in the center on both sides. On both sides. This thing is sewn. There. Now I'll go to town on it with the bungees. CB. I talked to my friend, he's a flatbedder, said that he was on a CB. And a veteran got on the radio and said, "Hey man, you got a friendly tarp." My friend was like, "What?" He didn't really understand at first. He said, "You got a friendly tarp?" I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "It's waving at me." I don't know, I thought that shit was funny. So as you can see, I just weave them through. What I should have did was lay these on here like that. You always want to point the hook out, because if you point the hook in, the wind will rip the tarp. The hook will rip the tarp in the wind. So I was taught, and I agree, that we should point the hooks out. Again, some people just might not care about that. Some people might not care. That's one side done. You see how I bungeed it? Make sure it's tight here. Now, let's get these front edge protectors. Front edge protector on. Let's get a nice reinforced padding. You can go by moving quilts, which work very well. I've seen some people do that. Probably something I do when I get my own truck, but I don't know about doing it because I rent. I pay to rent these tools from the company. Part of that weekly astronomical bill that we get as a lease operator. You know, I mean, I feel like it's paying off regardless, but that's part of that bill. So I might as well just not, you know, I don't have to spend money on something that I can get. In some cases from the company, there's some things that I'd rather spend the money on. Like, to be honest, I'd rather have my own tarps. I'm tired of changing out tarps, getting crappy sewed up tarps. It's because people just don't care about them. You know? I mean, if I were a company, I wouldn't be buying tarps every 5 minutes either, but I'd find some type of system. You know? Should the driver be held accountable for tarps? You guys tell me. Leave it in the comments. They leave with a brand new tarp and come back and it's shredded to pieces. If I owned a company, I wouldn't want that. I'd have a problem with that. I'd have a real problem with that. Let's get this seam in the middle. Oh man. Shit. Damn it. when you mess up, like I just did. There's some more sharp edges. Now that wasn't cool. I should have caught that before pulling that tarp out. This is not too much of a big deal. I got it fixed. Trying to concentrate on talking to you guys. That's right, I'm blaming it on you guys. Trying to see how I'm looking. Now, I want that to come backwards. Yep, that's where I want it. So on the front, you're gonna pull the sides in first. Again, if you can imagine how the wind blows, you don't want the sides exposed, because what happens then? It blows up like a balloon. Where do we start? In the middle, on the rub rail. Alright, we got a little load here. Fiberboard, we strapped, and we full tarped. Just to recap, we did 3 straps on the front stack. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stacks. I did 2 straps on all the rest of the stacks. If I didn't tarp it, I probably would have put a 3rd strap on the back. but the tarping does help when it comes to securing. So that's why I only put 2 straps on the back. Legally, I'm in legal DOT specs or regulations, but as you guys know, I usually do put 3 on the back, but because I tarped it, it's also a means of securing the load. So we talked about the bungees, how we lace them through. Now that can change. That can change depending on where your D-rings are. This is a D-ring because when it's facing that way, it looks like a D. So, you know, if my D-ring was up here, I wouldn't have been able to lace it all the way through, and we would have strapped it down a different way. I was next to an old timer once, and he gave me the secret. Oh, I don't want this flapping. I'm going to have to get a bungee. Well, his secret was, when it comes to securing a load, you do whatever it takes to secure it. And it's simple, but the position I was in when he told me that, and the look on his face, when he told me that, it's simple, but the position I was in when he told me that, and the look on my face when he told me that, on his face when he told me that, said that was the jewel. And sometimes it's those simple things that just make all the difference. So now I do what it takes. And what I mean by that is you could be sitting. And what I mean by that is you could be sitting looking at your load like, oh man, this steak pocket isn't. Oh man, this steak pocket isn't in the right place. Oh, these chains aren't long enough. This bungee doesn't reach this D-ring. I don't have enough straps. Whatever problem you run into, it falls back to what the old timer said. You do whatever it takes to make it happen. To make sure that it's secure and safe, and get on your way. Calling the fleet managers, calling all that, just, you're killing your clock. They don't got someone that can always answer your questions. And from the desk, in their perfect world of securing, things don't always go as planned or like it. For instance, one time I was in South Carolina, and they told me that I couldn't put a chain around the what are they called? The round parts of the rub rail. That I had to put it around a stake pocket. However, the way that my spools fell, I couldn't put the chain around the stake pocket. It just couldn't happen. That's the day I met that old timer. He told me, stop calling them. So do what you got to do to make it happen. Out here, it's a different. As long as it's safe, it's secure, and it's legal, then you're good to go. So that's just an example. You know, it's not a perfect world out here. It's the same thing when you're in orientation and you're driving. You know, you're taking the little routes in orientation or out on the range that you learn, and they're teaching you how to make left turns and right turns. When you're making a left turn, make sure you don't start turning until you're in the middle of the road. When you're making a right turn, don't start turning until you're in the middle of the lane. That's all great. It's great to have that foundation. It's great to have those basics. But when you get out here, the game has changed. It's not that perfect world. Those turns will change. That left turn will be different. That right turn will be different. All of them will be different. None of them will be the same. So just keep in mind, do what you have to do to make it happen, but do it safely. That's it. Stay fresh. Be cool. Don't judge no one. It's Choice Mass. Peace.